Alright everyone, welcome and good evening here with JK Esports this evening, Tier 1 for round 2, and it is for the Dutch Grand Prix, just getting finished off with Tier 2, and we're going to get started here right now. So let's have a look and see what the comparison is going to be between the two different set of drivers. I think we do have a full grid of 20 drivers as it looks so far. Getting started with a short qualifying session, which should not be too long. Of course, with 20 drivers on the grid, we'll get quite busy on track. So let's see how well drivers do manage themselves out there in terms of giving each other room and whatnot. We got quite a few cars already getting out, so we're going to switch on to someone who's currently doing a lap, and let's have a look and see what's happening in the meanwhile out on track there at the moment. Currently on with Whitson here in the AlphaTauri. Let's see what the lap times are going to look like getting around the track here. Seems to be dry so far. Hopefully we can have some more information from one of the drivers in terms of what the weather is going to be like for the race session itself. Since the qualifying is not too long, I think it should be dry all the way through, but for the time being we're just going to keep an eye on that and going on through. Hopefully the race is going to be dry as well. I'm not sure if these guys came with a wet setup this evening for this race, but we'll see what happens in that case. But so far so good, as everyone's starting to get out. Quite a busy track here at the moment. I think the guys are giving each other enough room as it is, so we'll see how the rest of the session will go on through. And welcome to everyone currently joining on the live stream here at JK Esports with us. Hopefully you guys enjoy the stream. We'll see how well this race start is gonna go. Gonna be a very short run in down into turn 1, so could get a bit crazy going around the first few turns at least, but does tend to go quite well most of the times that I've seen from experience. So we'll see how well it's gonna go, but for now let's just keep an eye on qualifying. I'm just waiting for some lap times to start come on in here, and then we're gonna see what's gonna be happening in that case there. And looks like we already have one driver, Whitson, who we were actually following at the moment there. I think he might be out of the session. Yep, so far seems like he is. So we'll see what's going to happen with everyone else as they get on around here. Definitely expect to start season lap times in pretty soon, as majority of the drivers are currently on their hot laps and getting around. Welcome to Dubs in the chat. Good to have him in. I think our formation lap should be set on as was with tier 2, so we should be able to go through the entire starting grid just before the race for a second round if we do need to. Now let's have a look and see what we got going on. So far Majako there 110.4 goes fastest in the session. We got Scoop Steve going second fastest, 110.438, just about 200 per second separate them, so very close so far with the qualifying times as we have it. We're down to just about 14 minutes remaining here as well. We have Scavney going down to 5th at the moment. Sakov goes up to 4th, 111.1, not separated by much. Stewart Little goes up to 110.5, now down to 4th with that. So lap times coming in very, very quickly. Want to see where at least the top 10 cars are going to be on this one. Let's see what's going to happen here. Just going down to the back here and have a look at Mystic Joker right now. Still getting around the track here, so still just a bit away more. Getting through sector 3 now before he does get a lap time in. Looking pretty good with the times. We're getting a few times who are a bit off at the moment. We got Yoppie there 123.4. And we got Digu there 123.1. Not the best of times. I think they're up at least about 12 seconds. They're going to try and improve that if they can, going further down in the session. Just under 40 minutes left, so still got a lot of time left for drivers to get their lap times in. Let's see how well that's going to work out. Mystic Joker going P9 so far, 114.2. Rockstar goes up to 6 at a 111.0. So we're going to have these grid order changing up quite a bit through the qualifying session as majority of cars get on through. Looks like WC96 having some problems with that Alfa Romeo, getting off track a bit there. He's getting back on there right now. Not sure if he has any damage on the car, but probably might get on a new set of tires before he does another lap, or might just actually try it on that same set of lap. We'll see what's going to happen. Jack here having some extra problems as well. That's the entire front wing gone, as well as the right suspension and front wheel as well. So doesn't look like Alfa Romeo having the best of time or best of luck here in qualifying for the Dutch Grand Prix so far. I'm gonna switch on that over. Let's have a look and see what's happening down at the back here. Jalen at the moment, no lap time in for the Mercedes driver. We'll see where he goes at the end of this. I think his teammate is Saf there, who's currently down to 8 at the moment. Mr. Joker goes fastest in the session at 109.4403. It's about a few hundred of a second. No, actually, no, with a second faster at least by itself. I thought it was a 110, so it goes into the 109s and is the only driver so far to get into the 109s here. And I think it's looking quite good for him. Majako, though, down to second on the grid at the moment. Got Garud down to third, 110.4. Scuba Steve down to fourth, 110.4 as well. So quite a few 110s in the grid order so far that we have. So it's going to be quite interesting with the start out at the front. We'll see how well that restart is going to go. But let's have a look at down at the bottom of the grid. We do have a few cars still on out laps here at the moment. I can see our top few drivers are getting backward on track on their second out laps right about now. They're going to try and get another lap in if they can and see how well it's actually going to go. Currently following on with Seb Lafleur here in the Alpine. Let's see where his lap is going to look like when he gets started on it. I think he's getting back into the pits though. Probably didn't have the best of luck, or they might have taken some damage on the car. I'm not sure. T-Widow here getting it wrong and looking to get started on this lap right now. We're going to stay on board with the Williams as he gets on through Sector 1. As you can see, quite an interesting sector on the track, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that restart goes through there. Because this is going to be a full grid getting on, which is going to make it a bit more interesting as well. Not sure if we're counting on a safety car on this opening lap or not. But we'll see how well the drivers handle the track as they get on through there. The lap times are looking pretty competitive so far. So definitely interested to see when that restart goes and what it's going to be like by the time we get to the end of the first lap at least. Oh, we do have that information for the weather so far. So full dry race that we're going to be looking forward to here in Tier 1. So going to be quite interesting. Doesn't look a bit slight cloudy, I got to be honest, here in qualifying. So might have dropped the track temperature a little bit for the drivers in the qualifying session. It's just down to about 10.5 minutes remaining here before we finish off with qualifying and get straight into the race session. But so far it's looking pretty good, especially with those 110s and 111s that we have on the grid. But Mystic Joker there setting himself apart with a 109.4 and he's holding on to that lap time. That's a provisional pole time for him there as he has it right now, and he's back into the pace. I think he's quite comfortable with the time. I'm not sure. I think he might just wait a bit further down to the end of the session before getting back out on track and possibly trying to beat that lap time just in case another driver happens to get a faster time. And so far we've lost 3 drivers from this session. Flair, we lost Jack and Whitson as well from it. So they're going to be pushed down to the bottom of the grid in terms of the race start. We'll see how well that is going to work out for them. They're going to have to work their way through the field, which we know is not going to be as easy as they would expect, especially here at Zandvoort. We'll see how it goes. Jalen is up to 6 at the moment to the 110.5. Stewart currently out of the session. Garud out, and he's currently stuck in 5th there at the moment. Got D-Good in 9th at 110.7. Rockstar still in 10th, 111.0. We got Soft down to 11, 111.172. Then about 200 of a second slower than that. We got Janet there down to 111.194. I think it's going to be an interesting battle between quite a few drivers in the race itself. Just watching the lap times what they're currently at. I mean, Janeto's time is it's quite close off. So even down in the midfield, it's gonna be quite interesting. Another 2 10s down from that. There is Yoppie there in 13. So this might just end up possibly having a safety car in this opening lap. I'm not sure. It just depends on how fast these drivers are going to push on through the session. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen in that case. A random series here in the house and running at the moment, about to get started on a hard lap here as he gets along the final turn and back onto the start finish straight. Let's switch on back to the overhead camera, have a look and see some. I think majority of our cars have their lap times in so far. Only driver still running and don't have a lap time, I think, is Random Sears, who we're following on with here right about now. And he's still working on his current lap. He's about to get into sector 3 there, so once he finishes that off, he should have a lap time in. We'll see how good or bad it's going to be. WC96 still stuck there in 17th without a lap time. He's back in the pits. We're down to just an average about 7 minutes 15 seconds remaining here for qualifying. Alright, so as he gets around here, let's have a look and see. He's going to get across the line, and let's see what the lap time is going to look like. Puts him up into P10 right now for the start. So 110.8, not too bad of a time. At 10th, more faster. He should have gone up in the 9th ahead of the good there, but not bad. Got scouting there in 8, 110.6 so far. Looking very, very close up. Just a tenth or two or a few hundredths of a second is what separates most of our drivers on the grid. So it's looking pretty good so far. Now out in front, interestingly enough, we do have Majako there going up into a 109.7, but he's still about 3/10 off the time of Mystic Joker, who's currently on provisional pole for the start of this race. So we'll see how that works out with the two of them. But looking to be very interested. They're going to probably be going side by side into turn 1. Because I think Majako does have the pace to actually keep up with that McLaren. I might just follow him on through. I might try to take the inside. We'll see how that race start goes though. But Scoop is here at 110.0, not too far off of it, just about 3/10. So he's still within that range of just keeping up with them. And then T Widow there, 110.2. Everyone just separated by a few tenths, literally going all the way down the field to 15th at the moment. Rob there, 119.7. I think he really does need to improve that time if possible here, and hopefully he does get a chance to possibly improve the time. We'll see what's going to happen. Let's switch on down just a bit, see what's going on with the rest of the track here. That Aston Martin a bit off track, and that's the good there. Possibly was trying to get a faster time in. I'm going to go down to Yuppie here, who I think is on a lap at the moment. And now Williams definitely trying to get some sort of faster lap time in if he can. Alright, so I think he's probably heading back to the pits. Let's switch that on over back to who we have down in the back here. WC96 still hasn't got a lap time in. His teammate obviously out of the session, so it's going to be starting down at the back of the grid. I think he does need to get a pretty good time in to possibly get himself into a position where he can score some points in this race, especially with getting a good start. Might be where he needs to get started with. Let's see if he's getting a good lap in here. As he gets across the line, goes up into P13 at 110.9. Not too bad so far. I think it's a reasonable position, putting himself in the midfield of the grid to get on through this race, but we'll have to work his way up, possibly using pit stop strategy and possibly getting a few overtakes done in the race as well. But so far so good, as we're going to switch on back out in front. With just about 4 minutes 10 seconds remaining in the session, we got Mr. Joker back into the pits. He did a 109.2. So went, I think, at least about 10 faster than what he had before, 10 or 2 faster. And we got Majako there, still a 109.7, 5/10 of that time. So he still needs to improve. Scuba Steve goes into the 109s as well, makes a 109.9, another 2/10 off of what Majako did. So top 3 looking pretty good in those 1 minute 9 seconds so far. So let's see if that's going to be any sort of more improvement. Then Mr. Joker might be getting out back on track, possibly trying to get into a 108 here. I'm not sure if he'll try to do that. I've seen it done before, but we'll see what's going to happen in the race itself. As these few cars out in front, they're getting very, very close off with each other. Got Genito is up to P5 right now, 110.299, and missed out on P4 there by just about 1/300th of a second. So that's actually pretty close off with the two of them. I think Majako definitely on another lap here right now, definitely trying to improve his lap time that he currently has at 109.766, and wants to go just a few tenths faster to possibly get provisional pole for the start of the race. So let's see if he's actually going to be able to get that here or not. I think we're just going to switch that back a bit. So getting into sector 3, and does get that purple sector 3 as well. I wasn't sure if the purple was a purple sector 1 or not, but let's see how he finishes off the lap. I think that was a Haas down on the side of the track, just trying to get out of the way of the Alpine here. So let's see what's going to happen. So far so good, because McLaren's looking pretty good. We got Mr. Joker starting P1. And goes his teammate. Janetta goes down to 6 right now. I think Majako just improved his time by about a tenth. He's now a 109.6, still about 4/10 of the time of Mr. Joker. I don't think he's going to have enough time to do another lap here, so I think that might be hit. He might have to just settle for a second place grid start here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Scuba Steve 109.9 still holds on to that time. On an out lap right about now, so definitely trying to improve his time if possible here. The good, they're up in P4, 110.0. Not a bad start for him. I think they're definitely trying as much as they can to get the best possible start in this race. Got T Widow down to 5th right about now. Ginato pushed down to 6th. Grode in 7th. Jalen in 8th. We got Stuart down to 9th. Impossible Bacon down to 10th. Scafney down to 11. Random Sears down to 12. Soft down to 13th with this one. And all of this in the 1 minute 10 seconds here are wrong Zanfords. And Yuppie there 14th. WC96 made a time at 110.926, puts himself on the 15th. Rockstar in 16th at the moment at 111. Rob there in 119, and that puts him all the way down to 17th on the grid. Sevla Flair and Jack and Whitson there. Unfortunately, no lap times from them so far, so they have to start down at the back of the grid. 18, 19, and 20 as they look there, and we're just about 35 seconds or so short of finishing off your qualifying session here right now. Scuba Steve on board with him as he finishes his final lap around here. I think Mr. Joker might be heading back into the pits. Let's have a look here right now. Actually, looks like he's trying to get another lap in. But let's go on with Scuba Steve here and see if he's going to be getting a faster lap or not, because I think it's what his aim is, possibly even to get into a second place start, just to start out on the front row, just alongside that McLaren if he can. We'll see if he's able to pull it up, because the lap times are so close off together, and he does mess that lap up, and that's going to be him out of qualifying there. That's a session over as well, so whoever's currently finishing off a lap will be able to finish a lap, and then we get straight into the formation lap and the race session itself. Mr. Joker holding on to that 109.2, and I think that's going to be it for him there. Let's see if anyone else is currently running on track. His teammate here, Geneto, running P4 at the moment as his qualifying time, and I'm not sure if anyone's going to be able to beat that at this point. T-Widow here down to 5th, trying to have a look, see where everyone is on track, and looks like that might just be it there. So let's, I think majority of our drivers are retiring off the session so that we can get straight over to the race session itself. But quite an interesting qualifying session here from Tier 1 with JKeSPORTS. Lap times are incredibly close off together, so does look like we are in for an exciting race when we do get around to it. Gotta see what this race start is gonna look like. We're gonna try to follow as much as we can on that opening lap. Not sure how much we'll be able to follow along with, but we'll try, and let's try our best and see what we're gonna be able to do with that. So just waiting for everyone to get off the session before we can have the qualifying results and then get straight into the race session itself. Okay, so qualifying results here for Tier 1 with JK Esports. So far, it looks like Mystic Joker is starting on a pole with this one here. Majako is going to start second place just alongside him on that front row. We got Scuba Steve starting third. We got Geneto starting in fourth. T-Widow starts fifth. We got D-Good starting sixth. Randoms here starts 7. Jalen starts 8. Garut starts 9. Yuppie starting 10. Stuart Little starts 11. Impossible Bacon in 12. We got Scavney in 13. Soft starts 14. WC96 will start 15, Rockstar starting 16, Rob starting 17, Several Player in 18, Jack there 19, and Whitson will have to start 20th on the grid there. So hopefully a good start from them down at the back, and just gonna possibly try to make up some positions if they can during that first opening lap. So we'll see how well that's gonna go. Hopefully not resulting in a safety car or a VSC. Then hopefully not too many cars will take damage on this. We know there's gonna be some minor contact getting through that first few turns, so we'll see how well it's gonna get on through with that. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be a 36 lap race around Zandvoort. We got our 20 drivers on the grid getting through the formation lap here right about now. Going back through that. Actually, let's just get a few stats up on screen before we do have back a look at anything else here. So I'm going to keep lap data on telemetry. Just going to keep that off for now. We can have a look at what tires these guys are going to be starting the race on here at the moment. So we see majority of the grid from P1 to P12 will be starting on the soft. We got a few cars on the back starting on the mediums and few on the hard. So quite an interesting change up with the strategy as it's going to be there. We're going to see how well that's going to work out. But the cars out in front will be running a much shorter stint before doing that stop, and we'll see how many pit stops they actually choose to do, and that kind of is also going to be dependent on safety cars and how much damage they do take. If they do take any damage in the race itself, we'll see how that's going to work out for them as they're getting through sector 2 here right about now. So it should be quite an interesting race about to get on through here. So in the meanwhile, we have that going on. I'm just going to switch this back to position change. You guys can have a look at that as we get started with the race. And as we have it there before, Mr. Joker starting P1 in the session. Here we got Majako qualified to start second, Scuba Steve starting third, Geneto starting in P4, T-Widow starts fifth, we got D-Good starting 6th, Random Series in 7, Jalen 8, Garut in 9th, Yuppie there 10th, Stuart Little in 11th, Impossible Bacon there in 12th, Scavney there 13th, Soft in 14, WC96 15, Rockstar 16, Robin 17, Several Flair in 18, and Jack in 19, and Woodson there in 20th on 14. unfortunately on the grid, will have to possibly try and get his way through the field somehow as this race gets started. We'll see how well that start he is going to getting through on that. So we're waiting for the entire grid to be reformed back here, which are about to just start doing there right about now. You can see cars getting into their slot and about to get started with the race, and I'm quite sure everyone doesn't want to be sitting on the grid too long before they actually do get started here. So let's have a look and see where the last car is, and I think he is just about to get into his grid slot here. Alright, so let's have a look and see how the start is about to go. That's 5 lights out. Looks like the McLaren gets a better start out front and will push on through for that. And looks like Majako is already down a position against the Haas behind of him and might have to just try and get the back. Let's see if he gets on through that. So far, so good. A few contact between a few cars as we get on through that opening lap. And it looks like Majako is possibly down to third here at the moment. And there's possibly was a car into the side of the track. I'm not sure if that was just a glitch or not. The leaderboard is a bit mixed up, but we're going to keep just an eye on what's happening as the grid gets on through. But that McLaren leads on through. We got Janitor still running in I'm not sure what position he is right about now. He doesn't leave the grid to get sorted back, but there it is. He's back again into P5, still running through. There's a few tenths separate each driver as they get on through here. I'm trying to keep an eye out front because there's about a 3-10 gap between T-Widow and Majako there, and that's for third. But Scuba Steve is already up into second, and he's holding on to that position and not giving it up, and got it before the first sector was actually over. So not a bad overtake for him. I'm going to go on board a bit and see how close he's actually getting to Mystic Joker here. Looks like he's keeping a pretty close gap. Majako's still trying to keep up with him. T-Widow very close by behind, as we can see. So he's looking to get back onto a podium position if possible, but needs to get past Majako, and I don't think that's going to be so easy. Might have to use a slipstream down the straight here, and let's see if he's actually able to get this on. He's thinking about going on the inside of turn 1, but not going to be able to push that through. Mystic Joker does get the fastest lap so far though, as getting on through here. I think we might have a yellow flag situation down there in sector 3 at the moment. I think that's for one of the Aston Martins. I'm not sure. I think that's happening down at the back of the grid. Let's have a look. He's getting back into the pits. Definitely has some problems there. It's possible he took some damage on the opening lap. Not sure what happened there. So on with these two still here following on through. Leaderboard is just going and coming. We're just going to ignore that for now. But that Alpine is holding on to the position at the moment as much as he can. Got the Williams of T-Widow down behind, still pushing for that overtake, but doesn't look like he'll be able to get it anytime soon as it is. Mr. Joker still continues to lead out front, comfortable with a bit of a lead that he has against Scuba Steve. He's trying to keep it going here, but Majako's still trying to keep up and keep his car into a podium position as it gets on track. For some reason, it looks like the car is floating on track. I was going to get on board, see what the heck is happening with that there. So we got a virtual safety car here right now. Garud is out of the race. Something happened down at the back of the track there to his car. That's happened in sector 2, as we can see there at the moment. So I'm not sure what happened, but some sort of incident. This might trigger quite a few pit stops here. Let's see what's going to happen in that case. Doesn't look like the race leaders are going to choose to go out and do a pit stop here. We're going to have a look at the rest of the see if they will decide to do a stop or not. This, of course, will save Skapny some time here in terms of catching back up to the rest of the field at the moment, as we have is the first safety car in the race here on lap 3, where DRS was about to come online and be a bit of an advantage to some of the drivers. Now it's gone, and until the VSC is over. So we're going to wait for just a bit until that gets over there. Drivers will have to reduce their speed by about 40%. And looks like trying to have a look if Skapny catch up. Not as yet. Actually, he's still in sector 3 as these guys are about to enter into sector 2. So still about half a lap behind right now. So not the best of luck so far for Aston Martin, as he's all the way down about at least by half hour. Grid. Still on with the virtual safety car, getting on through a 7-10 gap between Mystic Joker and Scuba Steve out front. Majako there another 7-10s behind. T-Widow, I don't think he's too far off behind. He is running very close off behind. Of course, the next McLaren running in 5th. It's going to be something for them to worry about here as well, as he's pretty close by. So extremely close gap as that virtual safety car is now over, and we're back racing again. We're going to keep an eye between T-Widow and Majako here, see what's going to happen with these two, because as it is right now, looking pretty close, and we do see that McLaren chasing after them down the pit straight. Is going to get a bit interesting as well. Let's switch this on over to tires and keep an eye on that as they get on through out here. Let's have a look what's happening with this McLaren as he gets a pretty close gap going out in front, though. I think Mr. Joker was about to lose the lead here to the Haas of Scuba C, but I think he held on to it. I'm not sure how he did that, but somehow he's actually managed to pull it off for the moment. At least he's going to continue to lead the Dutch Grand Prix, and I think he's going to have a difficult time throughout the session with this. As you can see, the gap is extremely close and continues on for quite a few cars behind this, and does get a bit off track, and he's having, I think, some problems there, is he? Or that was his teammate, I'm not sure. Let's have a look at what happened to Ginetto here. I don't know, I think I saw a McLaren go to the side of the track. Possibly a possible minor glitch that keeps happening since the game has been out, not sure. Let's choose a car going to the side of the track for some reason. We're going to go back down here in P4 with T-Widow at the moment and just keep on with him as he continues to chase after that Alpine and not able to get the overtake done as yet. So still a pretty close gap between them. And race leader out front starting to try and get a gap going here. 5/10 is what his gap currently is, and he's trying to keep Scuba Steve out of the slipstream as they go into turn one. He's going to try to push it through on the inside, and actually does push it through, blocks up the McLaren, which now takes the other side around and possibly still gets the position back. I think they're still a bit side by side getting through sector one, but looks like Mr. Joker still holds on to it, at least for now. But a good attempt there by the Haas driver. Unfortunately not able to get the overtake done as yet. Rest of the grid seems to be fighting in just about the same. With out in front, we got at least the top 5 to 6 cars fighting at the moment for positions. You're going to go down the rest of the field and have a look and see what's happening down in the back. We got the Yuppie here chasing after the AlphaTauri in front of him. It's about a 4-10 gap, so it's a pretty close gap that he has, and he's going to continue on chasing with that. There we got WC96 there in 9th at the moment at the 7-10 gap, so still pretty close off even within the midfield here that we got going on. Whitson, of course, started all the way down at the bottom of the grid. He's up to 11th right now, 2.3 seconds behind Rob, so not a bad gap for him to work with at the moment. I'm quite sure he's going to try to improve that as he continues to go along. Several player here, another 4/10s behind, South in front of him. So it looks like we got a bit of a separation going between the front of the grid and the midfield here at the moment. It's starting to get a bit separated. We're going to switch back on over out in front with Widow here and Majaka. Once again, these two are still at it as they continue on through. The McLaren of Ginetto is still following on behind. Pretty close off, has a pretty good position so far out in front. Mystic Joker though still trying to improve himself in terms of the gap that he has against Scuba Steve. Still has him in that DRS range, and I think that's what he wants to get away from right about now. And the gap is starting to go just over a second, but still coming back under. So Scuba Steve fighting right now to keep the gap to what it is. Let's have a look at the McLaren here of Ginetto trying to get around the Williams in front of him, and he's looking for a gap on the inside right about now. I might try to think about this maybe on the one of the DRS zones. Let's have a look and see how that's going to work out, because right about now I don't think he wants to take a chance in terms of losing the position. So still about a 5-10 gap between us. Let's see how much longer that's actually going to continue. Out in front, however, we just noticing that Mr. Joker is now pulling away from the Haas by about 1.1 seconds. And he now gets the fastest lap as well. So it looks like that current lap is going pretty well for him, leading out front there. And I think he wants to continue to lead all the way further throughout the race. We'll see what's going to happen. Remember, we have the top 8 cars running on the same strategy at the moment on the soft tires. So we'll see if there's going to be a change with that or not as they get on through this. Yuppie there, a 3:10 gap between him and Impossible Bacon, trying to move up the order if he can. Okay, it's back on with this out in front, so still a pretty close gap between our top few drivers as we go down to the bottom. Let's have a look at the back here. So Scabney here is still trying to catch back up, and I think he's trying to catch up to his teammates. So Aston Martin not having the best race here as Zandvoort are running 18th and 19th on the grid. Not looking too good in terms of getting points, but this race still has a long way to go. Only on lap 8 at the moment of 36, so let's see what the rest of the race will have happening for them. I think someone was off track for a second. Then let's have a look at the rest of the field as we move on up here right now. Several players chasing after Saf here still in the Mercedes in front of him. So still trying to get around that, but not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. So let's keep on moving forward through here. We got Rob here and Yuppie, a 3-10 gap between the two of them. And looks like a pretty close battle going on. So we're going to just keep on with this for a second as I see what's happening. It looks like Yuppie still chasing after him, possibly breaking out from by about 7 tenths, but has that Ferrari just a bit closer to him down behind 4 to 5 tenths. So needs to be a bit worried about that as he gets on through this race. And we can have a look on the rear of the Williams and see exactly what's happening. Looks like Rockstar is gaining a position down there. He's up to 14th right about now and continuing on with that. Out in front, Mr. Joker now leads by 2 seconds, so has a pretty interesting gap going, and he's trying to improve that gap as much as he can. Rob there looking on the inside of the Williams here right now, still following on through behind there with the slipstream and really trying to get ahead. Having a very, very difficult time with this, and let's see how much longer he's actually going to hold on to that position, because he's currently running on hards. He means he's going to run a much longer stint than the Williams here, who will have to pit at some point before him. So we'll see how that's going to work out. And he's still following on through out in front. Still trying to get that position away from the AlphaTauri in front of him, who is, of course, chasing after another driver. So has some gap to work with there. And looks like the Ferrari is going to pull alongside on the inside. And Rob gets the position up into 8th. Looks like he's going to hold that position at least for now, but not a bad overtake. Actually got that pretty cleanly done, and holds a position more up, a little more points in the race. Even on the slower tires, actually got that done. So those drivers on those soft tires, I think they're going to start to feel a bit of wear on them as they get on through the lap 9 here right about now. So let's see what that's working out. Out in front, we do have Mystic Joker still leading this race, of course, by 2.7 seconds. He's increasing that gap and doing a pretty good job with Scuba Steve having some sort of difficulty keeping up, but has have Machako behind him by about a few seconds. And that is the Alpine out of it. Loses the rear around the final turn onto that start finish straight, and that might lead to a full safety car possibly. Let's see what's going to happen in that case. I'm not sure as yet, or if that's just going to be yellow flag, but it is stuck somewhere by the entrance of the pit lane there. There's a yellow flag down in sectors 1 there right about now. Well, let's call that sector 3 actually. Well, let's see what's going to happen in that case. Unfortunate for Majako, but he is out of the race. Didn't have any contact with another car. Just, I think he lost it on the just lost the rear getting around that turn, which has happened to a lot of drivers before. So, and there we go. So we got a virtual safety car for that incident there. So they're going to clear that car off the track pretty quickly. So just a virtual safety car for at least for this incident. Mr. Joker now continues to lead, of course, by about 3.1 seconds. But this is not going to be too much fun for him, because he's might be losing a bit of that gap, because Super Steve is now going to try and catch up as much as he can. Of course, he has to keep his delta positive. So let's see what's going to happen in that case. Another 7 tenths behind, we do have T-Widow, so a pretty close gap. And this is going to cause a few cars to just gain a bit of advantage out of this under the virtual safety car right now, just to get on through the race. So on lap 10 of 36, that gives us probably about 26.5 laps or so more to finish off the race. So still a long way to go before we get off to the end here. We're going to have some cars get into the pit lane right about now, especially those on the soft tires. They will be getting into that pit lane, getting a change of tires, and using that virtual safety car to possibly just save a bit of time under the pit stop. So let's see what's going to happen. Of course, the interesting thing to note, Mystic Joker and Scuba Steve did not pit under the virtual safety car. So let's see if that's going to be a disadvantage to them or not. And doesn't look like Yuppie here pitted as well. So that's going to put Mr. Joker continue lead the race. Scuba Steve still continues in second. Rob is now moving up into third on the grid. We had Yuppie moving up to 4th. T-Widow out of the pits into 5th. Genetto out of the pits, and he's into 6th right now. We got Whitson here, started P20th on the grid. He's now up into 7th position. Hasn't taken a stop as yet, but of course he's running on the mediums, so not going to affect him that much. Jalen took a stop. He's up into 8th right now. Soft did not stop at all. He's running on the hards along with Seth Flair 9th and 10th, and they can run a much longer stint before actually doing a pit stop here. So quite an interesting change-up so far. We're already back racing. That VSC is already over to clear off Majako's car off the grid. Unfortunate for him, because he was having an excellent race there in P3, fighting for a podium position, and was trying to keep that going on through. And we're going to continue on out front. Let's have a look on what our gaps look like at the moment here. It looks like out front, it's a 2.7 second gap, right where we left these two before that VSC, and we're back on with it again. So 2.7 seconds where the gap is between them. I think it's going to continue that way. They seems to have some trouble of catching up to Mr. Joker here. I think he might be following him into the pits. If he does decide to do a pit stop, I might just do a stop a lap after. Let's see if that's going to be overcut or not. I was not sure what the strategy is going to be here, but Scuba Steve is possibly trying to use the pit stop in terms of trying to get past Mr. Joker. If he can, we'll see if that's going to work or not. We're going to go down here to the next McLaren here. That's Gianetto there in P6 right about now, who just moves up the position against Yoppie into P5 now. Fresh mediums working pretty well for him, and is really trying to keep that position against Yuppie there. So let's see if he's getting that done. And looks like someone's having a spin down in the back there. I'm not sure what's happening there, but it does look like possibly an Alfa Romeo had a spin there. I'm not sure who that was. And looks like we got a got some situation going on at the back here with the House of Random Series. I think he's back going right about now because Scabby just went past him. And looks like the Aston Martins are looking to get up into further on into the grid. They're 15th and 16th running at the moment. Let's see if they're able to improve their positions by the halfway point of this race at least. Out in front, Rob is now getting fastest lap here. Where is he running here at the moment? Currently running third. We got Gianetto now moving up another position. He's up into fourth place in the race against T-Widow, who's on fresh hards, but just that the tires are just a bit slower than what he has on there. So does have that bit of advantage. I mean, now we have a full safety car. WC96 is out of the race. I'm not sure what happened to that there, but something did happen to him on track. And there is his car down at the side. That's right around just before actually where Majako went off on that previous virtual safety car that we had just a few laps ago. So another incident happening on that final turn getting around there. So not sure if that's going to be a thing going through here on F1 2021, but we'll see how that's going to work out. This might lead, because it's a full safety car, it might actually lead to our race leaders, Mr. Joker and Scuba Steve, possibly taking a pit stop right at this point. They've done about 12 laps on those soft tires so far. They might want to think about doing a stop and possibly get onto a new set or possibly hards or mediums. I'm not sure if they're trying to do a one stop or two stop for this race. We'll see what the strategy is going to be. As we're on to Mr. Joker, he heads into the pit as long with Scuba Steve is going to follow him under the safety car at the moment and go on in too. Already got the McLaren heading back out on track here at the moment. Let's see if he continues on with the lead as he gets out with Rob coming just behind of him and actually does get out just in front of the Ferrari. But of course, this now puts Rob into second. The next McLaren, that's going to be Gianetto, moves up into third place on the grid at the moment, just behind the Ferrari, as he is going to continue on with his 2-lap old medium tires that he did on the previous stop during that virtual safety car. So an interesting change is moving up the McLaren up an order. It looks like we're having a possible situation where we might have both McLarens finishing on the podium. I think that's what the plan is here at the moment. Either way, let's see if it's going to work out. T-Widow now down to fourth. Scuba Steve, who was running second, is now running in fifth here. Of course, he has on fresh mediums. Mr. Joker went on for the hards. So now the two of them have chosen to go on different strategies to finish up this race. We'll see how well that's going to work. And we do have Mr. Joker with the first penalty in the race. And what penalty did he have? Let's have a look at that. It's a 5-second penalty here. That's it. Either is going to have to serve as a 5-second stop go penalty in a pit lane, or is going to have that added on to the to his time down at the end of the race. Now, of course, if he wants to win this race, if he's not going to do another stop here, he's going to have to get a 5-second gap against whoever is running second place behind of him. So now we're still running behind the safety cars. We still got quite a few cars who are trying to catch back up to the grid, and we're just waiting for them to get back up. So, and then we'll possibly, maybe in the next lap, we should have a safety car go in. I highly doubt it's going to go in on this lap here. So it should be going in by the end of lap 15. We should be racing by lap 16 again. Okay, so back on now. We're still into lap 15 and we're still following on behind the safety cars. Grid order has changed quite a bit. We can have a look at that as well as see how many positions are actually being gained. So Rob there gained 15 positions from the start of this race so far as it's been. Whitson there gained 11 positions from the start, so looking pretty good at those two in terms of getting driver of the day. We'll see what's going to happen by the end of this though. I'm going to keep on back with tires at the moment. Who has not done a stop? Looks like Rob and Sop there have not done a stop in this race so far. We lost 3 drivers so far. Garud there, we got lost Majako and WC96. Majako and WC96 went off just around the same point there by this final turn, getting back onto the start-finish straight. It's a bit unfortunate for them. You can lose the rear just depending on how you actually, what line you actually take through that final turn. So kind of understand what's happening with that. I think we're about to get back racing here because that safety car is already off into the distance. I really didn't pay attention to that, so we're about to get back racing. We're going to keep an eye on these two up front. We got both McLarens here, first and second on the grid. We got a Ferrari just between them. He's not in a good position, and they're back racing again as they get across the line. Let's see how he's going to go into turn one. A 210 gap with that Ferrari trying to find a gap to get around here. Track is back green again, and they're holding on to the positions as they have it here at the moment, going on through. Still about a 314 gap out front as that Williams and Haas, I believe, are trying to fight for a position there for P4. Looks like Scuba Steve gets up the position into 4th, and he's not going to fight his way back out in front of the grid and see how well that's going to go. Whitson here in 9th at the moment, trying to get around the Williams, and not able to do it as yet, but still trying his luck. Possibly see where he's going to go. We got Ginetto out in front trying to get around Rob there in the Ferrari. Let's have a look at that and see what's happening in that case, because it looks like if he gets around, that's going to be a P1, P2 finish there for McLaren. I think that's the aim at this point. They want to get both cars on the podium here, and I think they're going to try and get it as fast as they can just to get Ginetto around that Ferrari as well. As issue is going to be here right about now, so let's see if they can get it done. Of course, we do have Scuba Steve coming on fresh medium tires just behind Ginetto there in the McLaren as well, so he needs to be a bit careful about what's happening behind of him. Let's see how much of a gap they're going to be able to build against each other here. Out in front, Mr. Joker trying to get away though from that Ferrari, and he's pulling down to the inside of the track, trying to keep him out of the slipstream. Not sure if that's even working at this point, but it is a 7-10 gap that they have. McLaren trying to push it on the inside there. Ginetto still looking for that, not able to get it done as yet. Has the Haas coming behind of him. Does have Scuba Steve putting a bit of pressure on him. Needs to keep that in mind at the moment here. I think there was a pretty close gap between a few drivers down in the back of the grid there as well. In midfield, we're going to have to switch on just a bit to have a look at that. Just trying to see what's going to happen out front here, because that Ferrari definitely under a lot of pressure in terms of keeping second place in the race right now. Of course, he has done just 16 laps now so far, and Impossible Bacon is out of the race, and something has happened, or he's retired in the pits, I'm not sure. But we do have a full safety car for that, so something did happen on track. Quite sure something happened on track somewhere. I'm just not sure where. Rob is out of the race there as well, so something's happened to him. If we're trying to have a look at that, I'm not sure. Let's see where his car is stuck on track here. So definitely had some contact. It was only a matter of time before something happened between the two McLarens out front and the Ferrari there. So I think that might actually come down to a bit of investigation with the stewards as well, just depending on if there are any reports will be made with that. Now we have both McLarens running P1, P2 in the race, and really not a bad position for them. Of course, it's cost us another safety car though. This might result in a few more pit stops happening. We already got Soft going into the pits here at the moment. Now we got both McLarens running P1, P2 out front, and they might just be looking to finish the race in those exact positions. Their Scuba Steve though might have something to say about it, because he's now running third and he was running second previously just behind Mr. Joker. So I think he's going to try to get back that position if he can, and he's running in the Haas. T Widow just behind him. That's about a second behind as well, and the safety car is going to slow things down a bit and now get now going to cause everyone to just bunch back up, and we got a few more stops down at the back of the grid, so this definitely will cause everyone to get back a bit closer on together to get another restart going by possibly maybe lap 20 or so. We're going to see what's going to happen. I believe there's possibly 16 racing laps remaining after that, so we'll see what happens. But in the meanwhile, as it is, we will have a few pit stops. Cars will just sort out their strategy, whatever they're going to be finishing the race on. We got the good there running at 8, has done 13 laps on his medium so far. I think he's the only car that has tires that are more than 10 laps old here at the moment. He has done a previous stop, I think it was under the first VSC, I think it was. But still running an interesting race here in P8. Let's see where he's looking to finish this race. So far, we've lost 5 drivers out. Rob, Impossible Bacon, WC96, Majako, and Groot out of the race. Unfortunate for that. But we're going to continue on with the 15 that we have remaining. Hopefully, we can have all 15 finish off the race and get across the line. We'll see how it's going to work. But it looks like McLaren looking to get top points on this one. As we're about to go into lap 19 here right now. Trying to have a look if we can so far for this current season here with JK Esports. For tier 1, they did have rung a 1 last week, and looking at that, we're just going to have a quick look at the constructor standings at the moment. So at the moment as it stands, looks like Alpine is leading that with 25 points. There at the moment. You got Alfa Romeo currently running second with 18. McLaren down in third with 15 points. Aston Martin 11 points there in fourth. And hopefully they can score some points in this race. We'll see what's going to happen. Williams running fifth on that at the moment with 10 points at this is. Ferrari they're running sixth with 8 points and not having the best of luck here today as Rob is already out of this, so we'll see what's going to happen with that. I think the rest of the team don't have any points right about now because it's only been just one race so far. So let's see how well this session is going to finish off and what the points are going to be looking like by the end of it as well. So at the moment, still running on the safety car. We should, there we go. So we're going to have the safety car go in at the end of this current lap here and about to get back racing. Currently having Mr. Joker and Ginetto, both McLaren's P1, P2 running on track. Scuba Steve in the house running in third. T Widow running fourth. We got Jalen running fifth. Whitson currently sixth. D Good currently 7. Rockstar currently 8. Jack currently 9. Seb LaFleur currently running in 10th as it is right now. And I think we should be getting back racing pretty soon. We're about to get around that sector 3. Around that parabolica, and then they're already taking off to get on a go already. Both McLaren's already off into the distance there, trying to get away from Scuba Steve in P3, and let's see how that's going to work for them. Also going to be very interested to see if those McLarens are going to be racing each other in the race itself, or if because if Ginetto, and looks like he is a bit faster because he's already pulling around the inside, gets around his teammate and out in front into P1. He now takes over the lead of the race, and unfortunately Ginetto is out. I'm not sure what happened around that turn. We were not able to see that there. But the leading McLaren, who just took over the race, is now out. That leaves Mr. Joker there, now leading the race. I'm not sure what happened. Was there contact between the two McLarens or not, getting around that turn? We were a bit blocked in terms of the camera angles. We were not able to see what exactly happened there. Unfortunate, though, that that happened because we had both of them leading out front. So I'm not sure if they were racing just a bit too much and there was some sort of contact that caused that to happen. As we continue on with the race right about now, a 9-10 gap between Mr. Joker and Scuba Steve, who's currently running in second place. We got Tito Rido is now up to third into a podium position. He's going to try to keep that. Of course, Mr. Joker has that 5-second penalty to deal with. Let's see what he's going to decide to do with that as we continue on into the race. We're on lap 20 and running here, about to get into lap 21 pretty soon. 14 drivers now remain as we continue on with this Dutch Grand Prix here for Tier 1. And looks like Scuba Steve is closing that gap against the McLaren right about now. Gets into the next lap. Let's have a look and see how this is going to play out, because I was not expecting a McLaren to get a DNF in this session here. I think there was a possibility this might have just been a error on the driver's end. Not sure if there was contact between drivers on this one for Ginetto to be out, but that's going to be investigated further on at the end of the race there. But let's continue on with what we got going on here. So far 8-10s between Mystic Joker and Scuba Steve as they continue to race on out in front for the lead of the race. That 5-second penalty though is going to cost Mr. Joker. We got Seb LaFleur out of the race. Something's happened down at the back of the grid there. I'm trying to have a look if we can. Let's have a look here right now, see where we are with this. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see anything on track, but Seb LaFleur is unfortunately out of the race. Did he, there's his car down on the side of the track, as you can barely see down in the barriers on the side there. And we continue on with the race here. Mr. Joker getting the fastest lap so far on this occasion, going on through a 112.1 on race pace time going through. And that leaves us now with 13 drivers remaining. And hopefully we can have at least 10 finish off this race. Not having the best of luck here with Tier 1 either getting a run for the Dutch Grand Prix. Doesn't seem like drivers are enjoying this track that much. Does seem to be some slipping and sliding around. That's another purple sector there for Mr. Joker as he's looking to get faster and faster with the lap times here. 1.4 seconds is where the gap is between him and Scuba Steve, and he has a spin, loses the front wing. We were just about to switch off for him. Luckily we were able to actually call that. I don't think he's not having the best of luck out front in terms of rear wheel control. I'm not sure what's happening, but he's lost the entire front wing. He's now going to try and get that car all the way around the track back to the pit lane, and that is the race win possibly gone for him there right about now. He was looking to get that. So McLaren not having the best of luck here. Started off pretty well, and now we got one McLaren with a DNF. We got one McLaren with an entire front wing gone, and it's a full safety car right now, because now Whitson is out as well. And that leaves us with 12 drivers in the session right now. This might be a bit of an advantage here for Mr. Joker though, because he's now going to get into the pits and get on possibly to a set of softs or a set of mediums to take him all the way to the end of the race as he's getting around there into the pit lane right now. I'm trying to have a look because I'm quite interested to see what set of tires he's going to go on. We got a quite a busy pit lane here at the moment as well. As you can see, majority of the cars getting in here right now. He's going to serve that 5-second penalty, and then the pit crew can get to work on the car. And he's going to go on to a set of softs to finish off this race. A change of front wings is going to cost him a bit of time there as well, as he's going to be pushed down and possibly left down in 10th position, getting back out on track here right now. So let's see what's going to happen in this case. Scuba Steve there out in front in the Haas will be having the best of time, because he's now leading the Dutch Grand Prix and running into lap 23 at the moment. This now gives us about 13 laps remaining in the session, about 12 laps possibly of racing to go with, or maybe 11. We'll see what's going to happen. So Scuba Steve now stands a pretty good chance of winning this race. Saab there stands a good chance of finishing second on the podium. Random Series is going to have to fight it with possibly T-Vado and maybe JLM as well in terms of getting that final podium position, because it looks like he has a minimum of a 3-second penalty there. So I think everyone's just trying to get back bunched up with the grid here before we do get back restarted. Haven't counted how many safety cars we've had so far, but all leagues I've dealt with have been having a lot of safety cars in the sessions for the first few races of the season so far. So I guess it's kind of a recurring thing going on through. But let's see how our 12 drivers are going to perform going further to the end of this race here. So that Haas continues to lead. Looks quite happy out front there, as well as we're going into lap 24 here right about now. So we should be getting back racing into lap 25. That will give us about possibly 12 laps more of racing to deal with, and we might just have all 12 drivers finish off the race. We'll see what's going to happen, but it's going to be a fight for points here. Of course, Mixie Joker and quite a few other cars are on very fresh tires here, very soft tires. We get a few cars on fresh mediums as well. Out front, Scuba Steve has 9 laps done on those mediums, possibly going to be about 10 or 11 by the time we get back racing. So he needs to make sure that those tires can last him all the way to the end of the race, and he's going to have to be a bit careful with cars behind of him. Top 3 cars are running on older tires, so they're going to have to be very careful with the cars coming up behind, because they're definitely going to be looking to get an overtake done against them in terms of fighting for a position on the podium here, and possibly getting some more points for the Drivers' Championship and as well for the Constructors' Championship as well. I gotta say, the qualifying went very interesting here for JKeSPORTS Tier 1. Was pretty close up with the lap times on a lot of drivers, so not too surprising. We've had some intense racing going on in the race from lap 1 to this point as well. Did have a few safety cars, but does tend to happen with such close racing. There we have safety cars going to be in on this lap, and we should be able to get back racing at the end of it into lap 25. Leaves us with just over 11 laps of racing to go. And let's see how well that restart is going to go, because out in front, Scuba Steve will have to keep a pretty good gap against Saf and Random Series and the rest of the cars behind of him in terms of keeping that lead. He's holding back the grid at the moment, just weaving around a bit, as you can see everyone else is as well, keeping everything up to temperature before they get around the parabolica to get back racing here, which we're about to do here right about now. So let's see when he does decide to go, because it's up to him at this point in terms of leading. And he's now gone already, trying to keep the Mercedes behind of him, just a bit behind. And he's going to try to keep him out of the slipstream as well. Not working out too well. Let's see how close that gap is going to get. About 3/10 into turn 1, and they're going to continue on with that there. And let's see what the advantage is going to be. Going down to Jack here, who's going to having some trouble with Yuppie trying to get around him there on the inside. Scavy up to 8 at the moment. There's quite a few cars going behind of him, and I think that's him into the wall there. Lost the end plate on the front wing on the left side, so he's going to have some serious trouble having a bit more downforce on the car getting through the turns. I'm not sure if he's going to do a wing change at this point to possibly finish off the race if he can. Thibodeau's still in the pits there at the moment. We're going to switch back out front with Misty Joker here, trying to get up the field as he's trying to get around here of Jack, and actually does get it done. He's up into 9th place and going to fight his way back up to the front of the field if he can at the moment. It's a bit unfortunate for him. Was leading the race, majority of laps led, and it's a bit of a mistake I think on his end, possibly lost the front wing, had to do a stop during that safety car. We got a few more penalties on track here right about now. We do have Random Seriousness trying to hold off a Mercedes behind of him, and the same thing I think is happening with his teammate out in front, who has stop behind of him by about 9/10 there right about now. So I'll go on board just a bit. We got D Good now getting fastest lap on 1:12.0. Not a bad time so far. Random Sears looking like he's going to be under some serious pressure right about now, unlike his teammate who's trying to build a gap, and we have Jalen taking it on the inside, gets up into P3. And he's not going to follow along behind his teammate. Now it's looking like Mercedes might be finishing with both cars on the podium. Of course, Jalen does have a penalty to deal with here. We'll see how that's going to work out. With Jalen behind, and it's the car behind of him does have a penalty as well. And I think it's probably about 3 seconds. We'll have a look at the penalties in just a bit. Just about 10.5 laps remaining to finish off the race. Out in front though, the Haas of Scuba Steve leading by about 1.5 seconds, so I think a decent lead at this point, because his tires are a bit older, but he's now going to have to defend against 2 Mercedes who are coming behind of him. Not sure if these guys are going to be doing a switch or not, because Jalen is on fresher tires and his teammate out front by about 5 laps, so they might think about doing a switch. Yes, depends on if Jalen is faster or not. Let's see how much closer he gets to his teammate down the run here into turn 1. And he uses the slipstream. We got DRS online right now as well. Not sure if he's going to push it on the inside here, and looks like he's going to push it just with a bit of contact between the Mercedes as well. Let's see if that's going to continue on through. Because I would assume they don't want to be taking each other out of the race at this point here, since they seem to be having it under control in terms of keeping both cars on the podium. Random Sears though is going to be an issue just behind of them. Let's see if they're going to be able to deal with that. Also got a Red Bull of Rockstar coming in 5th. I haven't talked too much about him in the race so far, but he's now worked his way all the way up into P5. Currently, as you have it, 11 drivers remaining in this race. Out in front, race leader is getting away quite well, so we got a bit of free air in front of Saf at the moment. A lot less turbulence in terms of trying to get away from his teammate. Of course, his teammate is keeping up with him, but he's not going to be I don't think he's going to be allowed to hold up his teammate here in case he is slower by any chance. Random Sears has about the same lifespan down on his tires as Saf does, so let's see how this is going to work out as they get on down into turn 1 again into lap 28. His teammate is going to take it on the inside and gets around quite comfortably well. Let's see if there's going to be a switch back again with the Mercedes guys. So Jalen is now running 2nd, Saf down to 3rd. Of course, Jalen has that penalty to deal with, so Saf is possibly going to have to try to hold back. The Goat, who currently is running 4th, for his teammate to stay in 2nd after the race is finished, just to make sure that both cars can finish on the podium here. Might just be what they have to do. We'll see what's going to happen in that case. Out in front though, we got Scuba Steve still leading the race. As we can see on the map, he's quite a way out front. And he's trying to extend a gap ahead of 2.4 seconds as he has it there right now. We're going to go back for on the midfield right about now. Have a look what's happening. Because we got Rockstar here running 5th. Stewart Little running about 4/10 behind him. Mystic Joker now up into 7th. And running just behind that as well. He's decreasing that gap as much as he can. Well, this is another Ferrari he's going to be dealing with here. So let's see if he's able to get by. And I go back out in front because it looks like the goat here in the Aston Martin is going to pull a wrong side soft in the Mercedes and try to get it wrong. He's getting purple sectors as well and having a pretty good go at it and not able to get overtake done as yet, but looking to get onto that podium position definitely as it is. And still has about 7.5 laps to get this done, so I think that's quite enough time. With the gap that he has is about 3 tenths. He might just be able to get this done to finish off this race and possibly get himself to the podium position. His teammate Scavney currently running 11th on the grid, might not be able to get some points here, but he definitely will if he's able to finish this at the position he currently has here. Let's see how that's going to work out. But I don't think Mercedes is going to go for this. They're going to be fighting it back pretty hard. Jalen getting a gap against his teammate by 1.2 seconds as it is there right now. And I think he's trying to extend it just a bit more. Possibly he's trying to catch up to Scuba Steve out front for the lead. But he does have that penalty to deal with, so let's see what that's going to work out. We're going to bring penalties online for just a bit. Have a look at that. As it is, so it's a 5-second penalty that Jalen has at the moment. And that means a 5-second gap is what he needs against the good there for both cars to be finishing on the podium. So let's see if he's able to pull that off. At the moment as it is here right about now, I think it's just about 1.5 seconds, and Degood has the overtake done into turn 1 here. He gets that position up and now will chase after the next Mercedes driver. Let's see if he's able to get that done or not. But that was quite an interesting overtake from him. Actually got that done pretty well. So at least we're going to have one Aston Martin finishing on the podium here if things continue as it is right about now. And he might actually get up into second place just because Jalen has a 5-second penalty. His gap is about 1.3 seconds, now down to up to 1.4. And so sticking around there. Let's see if he's able to bring it down because it's now down to 1.1. And if he does get into that DRS range, and he might get into that before the end of this lap here. Out in front though, Jalen is still trying to chase after the Haas of Scuba Steve out front for the lead of the race just to get across the line. P1 still if he can. 11 drivers still remaining in this race. Scavney is now up into 10th. So looking like both Aston Martins will be able to score some points here. Looking at the gap that Random Series has against that Aston Martin down at the back there right about now. Gap with the Rockstar here. Let's have a look what's happening in the midfield at the moment. Looks like Saf is about to lose that position to the Red Bull here, who's going to go up into 4th place. He's now down to 5th. Was a running third. He's going to fight it back at the moment, and we're going to have a bit of a switch going on through. And looks like Jalen was having some problems there. He's now down into 7th at the moment with his 5-second penalty. That puts the Aston Martin of the Good up into 2nd place. And now Saf is now running 3rd. And he's going to have to try to keep that car on a podium position just to get some more points here. I'm not sure what happened to Jalen, but not having the best of luck as he's now down into 7 there. Switch back to the overhead camera, have a look what's happening here. Scuba Steve out front, not making any sort of mistakes as it seems because he's still leading by 2.4 seconds and looking to finish his race at that point there on lap 31 of 36. So just a few laps remaining before we close out the session here. And that Ferrari of Stuart Little definitely looking to get by the Red Bull, but not sure if he's going to be able to pull this off. So let's keep an eye and see how that's actually working out there. And looks like Jalen is out of the session. Let's have a look on Scanvy's car here. We can have a look and see what happened, if possibly what happened with him here. And that's his car down on the side of the track there, retired there. So I think that's not going to be in the way. We're going to continue on with the 10 drivers we have remaining in the session. On the Rockstar here as he gets ahead of the Mercedes into turn 1, pushes on through the Ferrari behind. Is looking to get an overtake done as well as Mystic Joker just behind of that. So an interesting bit of change up at the end of this race as we get on through. Scuba Steve, it looks like he's going to just be taking a win there. The Good, they're still going to be finishing in 2nd. Rockstar here, the 5-second penalty though, looking to get across the line P3, but not going to be able to keep it. Let's see who's going to get that, because Saf is running behind. Stuart Little coming in 5th, and Mason Joker still trying to get a few positions up. And we got a very limited number of laps left here before the race actually ends. And right about now, it's only a 10th between the Mercedes and the Ferrari just behind that Red Bull. So let's see what's happening. Stuart Little trying to keep the gap as it is. I think he's trying to pull an overtake on Saf there, but not going to be able to get it done. Trying to have a look behind. Missy Joker coming on pretty quickly here. But a 3-10 gap, I think I'll call that. But let's see what position he's able to finish this race in at the moment as it is. So, because I think we're about to head into lap 33 here. And looks like the Ferrari is going to try it and be forced to push it around the outside. The McLaren trying to follow on through. Not going to be able to make that overtake right away. Let's see, they're still side by side going on through with this. So Saf and Stewart fighting for fourth position as the Ferrari goes a bit off track here and loses the front wing. It's going to be a yellow flag situation down there in sector 1 there, I think. And that's a virtual safety car for that guy. I think that's a lot of debris on track there as well. So quite a bit more change up happening as we get further and further to the end of the race here. Scuba Steve still continues to lead out from by 2.1 seconds. The Good still running in second place. We got Rockstar running third, 4.5 seconds to catch up to the car in second there, and Saf running in fourth, looking to take away that podium position away from Rockstar. Mystic Joker might be taking away fourth from him as well. So it looks like Rockstar might go down all the way to sixth by the time he gets across the line, if the gap continues as it is there right now. So we gotta wait until we get back racing here, which should be by the time we get around to lap 34, hopefully. We'll see what's gonna happen in that case, but really not a lot of laps remaining here in terms of getting overtakes done. And gap out front still 1.6 seconds. It has closed in a bit between Aston Martin and the Haas out front, and he's having him in plain sight view now. I think the Goat is trying to keep his gap as close as he can without exceeding that delta. And then we're back racing again. So the VSC is over on with 10 drivers remaining in the session. I'm going to follow on down at the back here with Safi and Mercedes, see what's happening with them. There's a 1.5 second gap out front. Let's see if the Goat is able to close that gap and possibly take away the race lead. We got Stewart out of the race. What's happened to his car? I think he's retired in the pits on this one here, as it seems that right now. Now we're down to 9 drivers remaining, so losing one after the other as we get on through. Soft here looking to get it wrong. That Red Bull having a bit of difficult time. We got Mr. Joker still following on behind of all of this. Random Sears with a drive-through penalty, possibly for exceeding the speed limit during that for VSC. We got Digut having a problem there right about now. He spun around, possibly have some damage on the Aston Martin as well. Lost the second place position he had. That puts Rockstar up into second right now. South now up to third. Of course, that 5-second penalty still stands with the Red Bull driver in second place. I'm not sure what's happening, but drivers seem to be having a lot of trouble here at Zandvoort in terms of avoiding spins with these cars here. So that's going to be Digut on to fifth. Still going to get some points, but not as much as he expected. Of course, both Aston Martin still running in this race, so I think that's going to be some decent points for the team, at least still. We'll see how that's going to work out. We got the McLaren of Mystic Joker about to get around the outside of that Mercedes and fighting for a podium position here. Let's see if he's able to get it, because this is no points, no penalties on either end. And that's going to work out good for him if he can get the position up. Of course, Rockstar there, 5-second penalty. These two cars behind him within a second and looking to get by right now. So they're both looking to get onto a podium, and he might be as people push down to fourth. Currently on lap 35, if we didn't actually notice that. So just a lap and a half more to finish off the Dutch Grand Prix before we get out to the end of this. So let's see who's going to be taking second and third on the podium. At the moment, it's looking like it might be Soft and Mr. Joker. I'm not sure. Of course, Rockstar still there, and just depends on what happens in the next few minutes remaining here, because at the moment he still has that 5-second penalty to deal with. Out in front, he's just running just a few tenths ahead. That's at least 3 to 4 tenths. It kind of stuck on screen, so we're not having an exact count on that there. We do have that McLaren trying to push it along the inside on that final turn. It's going to be a drag race down into turn 1 to see who gets the position up into third place here. And looks like the McLaren is going to have it on the inside. Mr. Joker actually gets the overtake done, and looks like he's going to try to hold that position into the final lap right now for the Dutch Grand Prix. And that's going to be Mr. Joker taking away a podium position from South here. But if Rockstar is going to keep the gap that he has there, that means he's going to go down another position. The Aston Martin of Digut is out of the race. I'm not sure what that happened. I think he might have retired in the pits. He was still looking at getting some points. I'm not sure why the retirement though. Anyway, we'll see what's going to happen with that. These are probably about 8 drivers finishing off the session at the moment, and looking like Scuba Steve is going to take the win for this race, leading by about 5.2 seconds. Rockstar currently in second to get across the line. The McLaren trying to get around him right about now. Let's see if he's actually able to pull this off before the end of this lap. They're going to go side by side into this one, and he has the inside, so the McLaren of Mr. Joker might actually be able to get the overtake down, but the Red Bull is fighting back right now. Even with that 5-second penalty, he still wants to get across the line for second place, and he's trying to hold as high of a position as he can.
I think this might be a fight going all the way through. So I'm going to go back with our race leader here, who gets across the line right now, takes the win for the Dutch Grand Prix. As we will see the Rockstar and the McLaren comes across the line. And of course, Mr. Joker has to take second place with that. Saf goes down to third. Yuppie takes fourth. Rockstar unfortunately has to take fifth because of the 5-second penalty. T-Widow finishes in sixth here as he's about to get across the line. Gascavni will come around for seventh with a 5-second penalty as well. And then a Random Series should get across the line just behind of that. So let's see how the finish goes for that. So T-Widow 6, Gascavni 7. Currently it's the GOAT in 8 and Random Series are in 9, but I think that should be a switch happening. We'll see how that works out. The final results when that is out. We're going to have a look at the preliminary results before we close out. So Saf gets driver of the day. Not a bad race from him. Gained quite a lot of positions throughout the race as we went through there. Alright guys, so there we have it, our race winner here for Tier 1 on round 2 for JKeSport. That's Scuba Steve in the house. Takes the win for that race. Mr. Joker finishes second on the podium and gets the fastest lap in the session in McLaren there as well. We got Saf taking third place on the podium and driver of the day, so not a bad finish for him. Yuppie takes fourth on the grid. Rockstar finishes fifth because of penalties. T-Widow takes 6, Company takes 7, and unfortunately I think that's all the drivers that finished the race. The Random Series I think did finish, but in 9, the good finish in 8. Even after retirement, I think that might be a switch. We'll see how that works out with the final results when we do have a look at the next round 3. So either way guys, I think that's going to be it there for this session. That was round 2 for the Dutch Grand Prix here with Tier 1 for JKeSports. Thank you guys for joining on the session. We'll see you guys on the next stream.